In this video, we will be learning how to use the oscilloscope to diagnose the cause of a picture timeout by checking the signal from the printhead controller. To do this test, you will need the oscilloscope, USB cable, and a probe, depending on your printhead controller setup. You will also need either a Mac or PC with the Picoscope 6 software. Begin by plugging in the oscilloscope to a USB port on the workstation. Next, we will need to connect the oscilloscope to the trigger synchronization signal coming from the printhead controller. Most print controllers use a BNC cable, but if needed, you can use the included probe instead. If the system is being set up for the first time, look in your printhead controller user manual to locate the trigger signal output. If the system has already been set up, to locate the trigger signal output, look for a cable coming from the JetXpert strobe box labeled firing clock. The cable should have a red or blue label on it. This cable is connected to the signal that we need. Disconnect the cable leading to the JetXpert and put it aside. Take the other cable and connect it to the connector labeled A on the oscilloscope. Make sure the printhead is jetting, and then let's switch to the software. Begin by navigating to the Finder, Applications, and then the Picoscope 6 software. By default, the Picoscope will be capturing when the software is loaded. You can stop capture by pressing the red icon. It's recommended to begin with the y-axis range set to 10 volts and the x-axis range set to 1 millisecond per division. Make sure that the trigger is set to auto and it triggers at a setting of 1 volt. Once this has been set up, you can restart the capturing. If your print controller is working correctly, you should see a very smooth signal going from 0 to 5 volts in a square wave. If the frequency of your printhead is very high, it might be required to adjust the x-axis scale. You can also adjust the scale to have more time per division if your frequency is low. By adjusting the y-axis scale, you'll be able to see signals of different voltages. Once you've verified that the signal is the correct voltage and frequency, you can stop the capture and close the oscilloscope software. You can disconnect the signal coming from the print controller and reconnect it to the cable leading to the JetXpert strobe box. Finally, you can disconnect the oscilloscope from the workstation.